Okay, so we're now going to pick up from where we left off again. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert a new column titled April between the March and the total column. Okay, so we're going to go between the March and the total. It doesn't matter where you go in the column, okay? You can be anywhere at all, or you can highlight the whole column if you feel more comfortable. But with the X, I'm going to stick with the X and size, and that says anywhere in the column, so there it is. I'm now going to come over here to insert, which is here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to open that up and I'm going to ask for it to insert a column. So insert a sheet column. Whenever I insert a sheet column, the column will always be put to the left of the column that I've highlighted. So because I'm on E, the column will be inserted between D and E. If I was on D, it would be inserted between C and D. So just bear that in mind. The placement of the cell is important. So there we have it. So going on to March, clicking, bringing that over, and April is now done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some figures in for April, and I'm going to put the first figure in here. And I want you to observe the total area here, and again, that's updated itself. If it hadn't, that would have been fine, but it means we would have to go back and insert it ourselves, or update it ourselves, I should say. It's fine, so I'm just going to go on ahead and put the numbers in. And they're all great. The function has automatically extended itself and all the numbers are taken account. I always double check when it's at the end, just to be sure. Whereas if it was in the middle, I very seldom check, because if it's in the middle, it automatically expands. When it's at the end of an array, I always keep an eye on it, always. Okay, so the next thing it wants us to do, it wants us to put an extra line in for a Honda between, it's between Ford and Mercedes, so in between here. So again, anywhere at all in row 6 is where I'm going to place my cursor, and I'm going to go up here again to insert, opening this up, and I'm going to insert a row. A row will always go to the top of where I am, so it would go between. So if I'd been on Toyota, it would have gone between Renault and Toyota and so forth. But I was on Mercedes, which is why it's gone to the top over here. So in here now, I'm going to put in Honda. And again, like I said, I trust these figures now because of what it is. So again, I'm actually going to put these figures in now, going across. And please keep an eye on the bottom for me to be sure, and you'll see that's going on. Now, the two that we need to deal with is the total for Honda going across and for April going down. Straightforward to do. I don't really do it again. I just go to the one above it, get my black copy across and copy it down. Go to the one beside it, get my black copy across and copy it over. Keep it as simple as you possibly can. Okay, so I'm now going to go and do average. So I'm going to insert a new label in cell G2 and call this average. And again, down I go. Okay, so now I want the average of sales for the 4 months. So I need to use the average function. Now, the average function is exactly what you think it is, all right? It is the average of the cells, and it does it exactly as what we do it as humans. The only one thing to be very careful about is when a cell is empty. Okay, so I'll actually do it, and then I'll show you what I mean, all right? Okay, so we're going to do average, and you can do average in any one of the 3 ways, again, that I showed you with sum. You just substitute the word average for the word sum. So you can do it by typing it from beginning to end. You can do it by typing it and using your cursor to highlight the area, or you can go to the quickie area up in the top left. I'm going to use the one that I tend to use nearly all of the time, and that is the 50-50. So equals average, open the bracket. I'm going to take my mouse now and identify exactly what it is I want the average of. And what I want the average of is January through to April. I'm going to close that bracket and enter. I'm going to go on top of that. I'm going to get my black copy across and come all the way down. Now, before I leave this area and before I unhighlight it, you can see that all the decimal places are kind of all over the place. So I want to deal with that. To deal with that, I can use these two tools here. This one here will actually never remember which is which. This will increase, this will decrease. All right. So if I click on decrease, you'll see it's brought them all back. Now, if I increase so they've all got 2, that's great. Now the reason I've brought it back to 2 is because I want us to focus, please, on these 2. This is 15.75 and this is 18.25. And I want you to observe it, how it actually rounds it up. And these are the only 2, because it's easier to watch 2 than watch the whole line. So just watch these 2, please. 0.75, 0.25. So sorry, I decrease. So you see 15.25, sorry, that was wrong. What was that? 15.75 has gone to 15.8. 0.25 is just rounded to 3. Now, if I go again by 1, the 15.8 has rounded up to 16. The 18.3 has stayed at 18. Why? Because it's only 5 and above that will round up. Anything else will stay down. All right. However, this is something you need to understand. As much as we round up and round down, whatever number is the true number in that cell is the actual number that will be used if we were to use that cell in any other calculation. So I'm going to demonstrate to you what I mean. If I was normally to just multiply 18 or even 16 by 2, right, you're going to end up with 32, correct? So I'm just going to multiply this cell by 2. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to say this is equal to, okay, G8 multiplied by 2 and enter. So as you can see, it's not 32 that came up with it, came up with 31.5 because it dealt with the true figure, not the rounded up figure. So please just bear that in mind. We think, well, that's not right. It is right, because the true figure in that cell is actually 50.25 or 75, sorry. All right, so just bear that in mind. Rounding up, rounding down does not eradicate the true number or the true outcome. The true outcome still is what it should be. All right.